Hello and welcome back to our channel, where we discuss the journey of life with honesty, grace, and understanding. Today, we're going to talk about something very personal, a subtle shift that many of us experience but few of us truly discuss. That feeling of just not being hungry anymore. Do you ever find yourself looking at a plate of food, perhaps a meal you used to absolutely love, and you just feel indifferent? That familiar spark of hunger, that keen anticipation for a good meal, just isn't there as often as it used to be. You might eat a few bites and suddenly feel full. If this sounds familiar, I want you to know, first and foremost, that you are not alone. This is one of the most common changes that comes with aging. But why does it happen? It's not one single thing, but a complex tapestry of natural physiological changes, lifestyle shifts, and sometimes important signals our body is sending us. Understanding them is the first step to ensuring you stay nourished, healthy, and vibrant for all the years to come. 1. Our senses of taste and smell diminish. The first and most direct reason food becomes less exciting is that our perception of it literally changes. So much of the pleasure of eating, perhaps as much as 80%, is tied to our sense of smell. And as we age, our olfactory smell receptors, as well as our taste buds, naturally begin to decline in number and sensitivity. Let's think about Margaret. For 40 years, Margaret has been famous for her Sunday roast chicken, seasoned with rosemary and thyme. It was the centerpiece of her week. But lately when she makes it, it just tastes bland. She finds herself reaching for the salt shaker more and more, try to find that familiar, comforting flavor she remembers. It's not that her cooking has changed. Her perception of it has. Salty and sweet tastes are often the first to fade, leaving food tasting bitter or sour. When food is no longer a rich, aromatic, and flavorful experience, the brain's desire for it, that psychological hunger, naturally wanes. 2. A natural digestive slowdown, the second reason, is a major physiological shift in our digestive system. In simple terms, our whole system gently slows down. One of the most significant changes is something called delayed gastric emptying. This is just a clinical way of saying that your stomach holds on to food for a longer period of time than it used to. Think of your stomach like a sink. As we age, the drain works just a bit slower. The food and water sit for longer before moving on. Because your stomach is still partially full from your last meal, you feel a sense of fullness or satiety for much longer. This is also tied to hormonal shifts. The hormone ghrelin, which is often called the hunger hormone, that signals your brain to go eat, tend to decrease with age. Meanwhile, other hormones that signal fullness, like leptin, can increase. The result is that you might eat a small breakfast at 8 a.m. and find you are still genuinely not hungry by 1 p.m. This isn't necessarily a problem, but it's a new rhythm your body is finding, and it directly impacts your impulse to eat. 3. The unspoken impact of loneliness and routine. This is, perhaps, the most profound reason, and it has nothing to do with our bodies, but with our hearts. For our entire lives, food is so much more than fuel. It is connection. It is ritual. It is love, celebration, and comfort. And when the social context of our meals changes, our appetite often disappears with it. Let's talk about Arthur. For 45 years, he and his wife, Clara, ate dinner together every single night at 6 p.m. It was their time. They would talk about their day, the news, the garden. Now that Clara is gone, 6 p.m. is the quietest, loneliest part of Arthur's day. The effort of cooking a full meal for just one person, the silence at the table, the empty chair opposite him. It all feels more like a chore than a comfort. He's not physically unable to eat. His appetite has faded because the joy and purpose associated with eating have faded. This psychological and social aspect of appetite, whether from grief, loneliness, or depression, is incredibly powerful and often the true culprit. For the side effect of necessary medications, this is a very practical and extremely common reason. If you're over 60, you are likely taking at least 1 or 2 prescription medications to manage your health. The very things that are keeping us healthy, like medications for blood pressure, high cholesterol, pain, or depression, can have this one very unwelcome side effect. Many common medications can cause persistent dry mouth, which makes chewing and swallowing difficult and unpleasant. Others can leave a metallic or bitter taste in your mouth that makes all food taste off. Some can even cause a low level of nausea that you might not fully register, but that is strong enough to silence any feelings of hunger. If you can trace your loss of appetite back to when you started a new prescription, this is a crucial piece of information. Please don't just stop taking your medication, but do have a conversation with your doctor. Sometimes a simple switch to a different medication in the same class, or even just changing the time of day you take it, can make a world of difference. 5. A less active body needs less fuel. This is a simple, logical truth that we often forget. Our bodies are incredibly intelligent. They are constantly calculating our energy in versus energy out. When we were younger and working, chasing after children, or just constantly on the move, our bodies demanded a lot of fuel. Now, think about John. He retired from his job as a postman, where he walked for miles every single day. Now, his days are much quieter. He enjoys reading, watching television, and perhaps a light walk in the garden. His body's gas tank just isn't emptying as fast. His metabolism has slowed, and his muscle mass, which burns calories even at rest, has naturally decreased. His body, being smart, simply stopped sending such strong signals to refuel. This drop in appetite is a direct, logical response to a new, less physically demanding lifestyle. 6. When it's a red flag for something more now, we must talk about the times when a fading appetite is not a simple, benign part of aging. Sometimes, it is a critical warning sign that your body is trying to send you. The key difference is to look for a sudden or dramatic change, especially if it is accompanied by unplanned weight loss. If you are losing weight without trying, that is not a silver lining. It is a clear signal to see your doctor. A sudden loss of appetite could be a sign of dental issues. It's not that you're not hungry, it's that it hurts. Ill-fitting dentures, a hidden cavity, or gum disease can make the simple act of chewing so painful that your brain starts to avoid food. Underlying illnesses, many conditions, from a simple low-grade infection to thyroid issues, gastrointestinal problems, or even more serious diseases, can all present first as a significant loss of appetite. Depression, this is more than just the loneliness Arthur felt. Clinical depression can manifest as a complete loss of interest in all things that once brought pleasure, and food is at the top of that list. Please hear this. If your loss of appetite is sudden, severe, or you're losing weight without trying, it is not something to just live with. It is an urgent and important signal to make an appointment with your healthcare provider for a thorough checkup, adapting with kindness and curiosity. So, as you can see, a fading appetite is rarely just one thing. It's a subtle message from our changing senses, our slowing digestion, our new routines, our medications, and our hearts. The goal is not to force yourself to eat like you're 30. That life is over. The goal is to adapt to this new chapter with wisdom and kindness. This means focusing on nutrient-dense foods, making sure every bite you do eat is packed with protein, vitamins, and minerals. It means trying smaller, more frequent meals instead of 3 large ones. It means making eating a social event whenever you can, invite a friend over, join a community lunch. And above all, it means listening to your body with curiosity, not judgment. We would love to hear your experience. Is this something you've noticed in your own life? How have you adapted your own routines around food and eating? Your wisdom is so valuable to our community. If this conversation was helpful, please give a thumbs up, subscribe for more thoughtful discussions on aging well, and share it with a friend. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you in the next video.